Hola, soy yo, Vicky, de El Príncipe Center, otra vez. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed previous videos, and if this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, I hope you enjoy it. So today I'm going to talk about ER verbs. So in a previous video we looked at the conjugation of AR verbs, and I explained that in Spanish there are three kinds of verbs: verbs that end in AR, verbs that end in ER, and verbs that end in IR. The first conjugation, which is called that because most verbs end in AR, is the AR verbs, and you can find that on the endings and some conversation practice on a previous video. So today I'm going to look at the second conjugation, which are ER verbs, or in other words, verbs ending in ER in their infinitive or their original form. And the example we're going to look at is the verb comer. And comer means to eat, or can also mean to have lunch. If you're in Spain, comer is the verb we use to talk about having lunch. If you're in South America, no, it would be almorzar, so a completely different verb. So comer is a nice regular ER verb. We can learn the pattern and we can apply it to other ER verbs. So what we do first is we take off the ER like we did in the AR verbs, and we add on a different ending for each person. So for I eat or I have lunch, we add on an O, which is the same as we did with the AR verbs. So como is I eat or I have lunch. You eat or you have lunch would be comes, es ending. And in fact, you'll see, if you've done the AR verbs already, from now on, anytime we had an A with the AR verbs, we now have an E. So, como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. And that is I eat or I have lunch, you eat or you have lunch, he, she, it eats or has lunch, we eat or have lunch, you plural, eat or have lunch, and they eat or have lunch. Now then, if you do have the Break the Language Barrier book level 1, you will find the ER verbs on page 37. And that's for those of you who do have the book, you're looking at page 37, but you don't need the book to follow the videos. It's just in case you do have it. If you do want to buy the book to go with the videos, you can find the Break the Language Barrier series. This is level 1, but there are in fact 4 levels, and you can find them by Vicki Riley. You can find them on any Amazon site, and you can buy them. But as I say, you don't need them to follow the videos, okay? So on the what we then went on to do, if we learn comer to eat or have lunch, and the endings o, es, hemos, es, en. This means that we can take those endings and apply them to any regular ER verb. And the examples we have here in the book are verbs, very sort of common verbs that we might use. Beber, which is to drink. So that would be bebo, bebes, bebe, bebemos, bebéis, beben. Aprender, to learn. Aprendo, aprendes, aprende, aprendemos, aprendéis, aprenden. Creer, to think or to believe. Creo, crees, cree, creemos, creéis, creen. And then we have vender, to sell. Vendo, vendes, vende, vendemos, vendéis, venden. Leer, to read. Leo, lees, lee, leemos, lees, leen. And then comprender, to understand. Comprendo, comprendes, comprende, comprendemos, comprendéis, comprenden. And then correr, to run. So, corro, corres, corre, corremos, corréis, corren. If you can roll the R, probably can do it better than me, to be honest. But yeah, rolling the R's, because it's a double R, we should really roll the R if we can. If not, we just make it an extended sound. As I think I've said in previous videos, a double R, a R, is quite difficult for an English speaker because we don't really have that sound in our language. Deber, now this is an interesting verb because deber means to must. Well, must isn't a normal sort of verb in English, but whenever you're wanting to say I must do something, or you must, or he must, this is the verb we would use. So for example, if you were wanting to say I must study Spanish, so you would conjugate the deber for I must, debo, and then you would use the estudiar in the infinitive. Debo estudiar español. Because you've already conjugated the first verb, debo, you wouldn't need to conjugate the second verb, because otherwise you'd be saying I must, I study, but you don't want to say that. So deber, debo, debes, debe, debemos, debéis, deben. Then we have romper, which is to break or to rip or tear. And that's rompo, rompes, rompe, rompemos, rompéis, rompen. And the last verb that's given as an example here in the book is the verb ver. Ver means to see or to watch. It can mean either of those. And this is slightly irregular because in the first person, we leave on the E. So instead of taking off the ER, we just take off the R in the first person only. So I see or I watch becomes veo. Then we have ves, ve, vemos, veis, ven. Okay? Good. Okay, so they're quite common, all those 10 verbs, they're quite common verbs that you might use on a regular basis. I always recommend writing out the conjugations of the verb, repeating them over and over again, because that way, that's how the endings stay in here. The more repetition, the better, and it's might be thought of as old-fashioned, but at the end of the day it works. Though you have to find what works for you, but I think I've found with most students repetition is what works. Okay, so if you have the book, but if not, I'll read the sentences out in English anyway first, so you know what I'm translating, because I'm going on to use those those verbs in some sentences. So number one, I often have lunch in a Spanish restaurant. So often is a menudo. We put that first. We can put it in other places, but I'm going to put it first. A menudo como en un restaurante español. So because comer is to have lunch, we don't need anything else in there, just a menudo como en un restaurante español. And then number two, I drink milk every day. Bebo leche either todos los días or cada día. Then we have, I do not understand Russian. No comprendo ruso. So notice the negative, the no, goes in front of the verb. Not comprendo no ruso. No comprendo ruso. Numero cuatro, I read a lot of books. Leo muchos libros. So the muchos has to tie in with the libros. And then número 5, I learn a lot of Spanish on the internet. Aprendo mucho español en el internet. Then número 6, Manuel sells clothes at the market. So Manuel vende, because it'd be he sells, third person singular, ropa or la ropa, or ropas or las ropas. All of those are okay. En el mercadillo. Y número 7, Carmen always runs in the marathon. Carmen siempre corre en el maratón. And then number 8, we believe in UFOs. I always give my students extra points if they actually find the Spanish for UFOs. You can say UFOs, but there is a special expression for UFOs in Spanish, which is ovnis. O-V-N-I. OVNI is a UFO. So, creemos en ovnis. Y número 9, a lot of Americans understand Spanish. So, a lot of Americans is third person plural. Muchos americanos comprenden, they understand, español or el español. And there number 10, we have the must. Deber, they must learn Spanish. So we conjugate the first verb, they must, deben, and then we don't conjugate the second verb because we don't need to. We've already conjugated the first one. Deben aprender español. I break something every day. Número 11. Rompo algo todos los días. And then he watches the television at weekends. So he watches will be ve. You might want to put in the L to make it clear it's he, because otherwise it could be she watches. Él ve la tele or la televisión. Now, at weekends is los fines de semana. So notice that in Spanish you don't say weekends, you say ends of the week. So, ve la tele los fines de semana. He always drinks beer in the bar. Número 13. Siempre bebe cerveza en el bar. Y número 14, it's that must again, we must, debemos, eat, comer, in the infinitive. So, we must eat more vegetables would be debemos comer más verduras. And then number 15, normally they sell cars, but in the summer they sell houses. So that would be normalmente venden coches, pero en el verano venden casas. Okay, so I hope you got all those okay. Any queries, you can always get in touch with me with the details that are there on the channel. If there's anything you particularly want covering in a video, please get in touch. I'll be happy to do a video explaining something that maybe you find particularly difficult about Spanish. I'm going to finish this video now and do a separate video with a conversation practice using the ER verbs. If you've enjoyed the video or found it useful, please press a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to see the videos as soon as they're uploaded, please subscribe, and then you'll get instant notification, because I am trying to work my way through the Break the Language Barrier books, But again, anything else that you'd like me to explain, I'd be happy to make a video of that also. Okay, so keep practicing. Ya está. And I will see you in the next video. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.